Hey, what's up guys? It's Mike.
It's Dan.
Welcome to the Dandoublechen show. You know, I always think about emperors and how I would have loved to have been one.
I mean, who doesn't want to be emperor, right?
But do you guys know how you get to become an emperor?
Well, typically, people who became emperor of China are from noble backgrounds. I mean, think about it. Emperors pass on the thrones to their sons. Even if they had no heirs, they had to pick an emperor from within the imperial family because there were no such thing as emperor elections.
So even though peasants can become officials, it is very hard for them to become the son of heaven, even though technically anyone can be emperor if he can serve the people well.
But what about the people who overthrow the emperor and begin their own dynasty? Well, these people were usually also princes or high-ranking noblemen from a vassal state, but in two rare cases, they were commoners.
So today we will tell you all about these two extraordinary men. One is Liu Bang, founder of the Han Dynasty, and the other is Zhu Yuanzhang, founder of the Ming Dynasty. Let's start with Liu Bang. Liu Bang, also known as Han Gaozu, became the first emperor of the Han Dynasty after he defeated the ruling Qin Dynasty and fellow rebel leader Xiang Yu. As emperor, he abolished the Qin Dynasty's harsh legalist system, which emphasized cruel punishments, and put in place a Confucian system that emphasized moderation and virtue. The Han Dynasty is the first major Chinese dynasty for which there are reliable and fairly full historical records.
Liu Bang was born during the Qin Dynasty in Pei County, or what is today the city of Shuzhou in Jiangsu Province. Not much is known about his parents other than that they were of the peasant class. Their full names are not documented, but his father is also known as Old Sir Liu and his mother, Old Lady Liu. There's an interesting legend surrounding Liu Bang's birth. It is said that before he was born, Lady Liu fell asleep by a lake and encountered a spirit in her dreams. While she was dreaming, the skies grew dark and it began thundering. When Sir Liu went to find her, she saw a dragon hovering over her. Shortly after this, she gave birth to Liu Bang.
Liu Bang was never a rule follower, even when he was a child. He disliked reading and farming, so he was considered useless and idle by his elders. But what Liu Bang had going for him was a really good personality. He was charming, well-spoken, generous, and thoughtful towards others. He always had a lot of friends. He had all sorts of big ideas and wasn't interested in mundane everyday life. When he grew older, he became a police officer under the Qin Dynasty.
Liu Bang was said to have very strong features that resembled a dragon. He had a very high nose and a fine beard on his chin and cheeks. He apparently also had 72 moles on his left leg, which was a sign of cosmic importance. His strong features actually won him a wife. One day, Liu Bang attended a banquet thrown for a respectable man named Liu Wen. Liu Wen was an avid face reader and was so struck by Liu Bang's features that he offered his own daughter Liu Zhi to him as a wife. Liu Wen's wife was mad because Liu Bang was a low-ranking official with no money, but Liu Zhi ended up being China's first empress.
The Qin Dynasty had a legalist system in place in which people were strictly regulated by a series of laws. The punishments were severe and cruel, and the people suffered a lot. Many feared death. Because of this, there was widespread unrest, which culminated in rebellions towards the end of the Qin Dynasty. While he was a police officer, Liu Bang was tasked with escorting a group of convicts to Mount Li to build Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum. During the trip, some of the convicts escaped. This was bad news because allowing convicts to escape was a capital offense under Qin law. So, Liu Bang let the remaining prisoners go and became a fugitive himself. Some of the convicts joined Liu Bang and became his followers. According to legend, while on the run, Liu Bang and his posse ran into a huge white serpent that was terrifying everyone, and Liu Bang slayed it. After this, his people became even more impressed with him, and he gained even more followers.
Soon after this, Qin Shi Huang died, and two military captains decided to stage a rebellion to overthrow the Qin dynasty, known as the Dazhexiang Uprising. Liu Bang's home county was affected. Liu Bang's old friends helped him re-enter his old county by assassinating the county magistrate. Liu was then known as the Duke of Pei.
Liu Bang became a rebel leader when a second rebellion broke out against the Qin dynasty, this time led by nobles whose states have been conquered by Qin. Liu Bang served as a major general under Ming, Prince Huai of Chu. Another major rebel leader who served Prince Xin was Xiang Yu. Though Liu Bang and Xiang Yu were on the same side of the war, they were also rivals. During the rebellion, Xiang Yu emerged as the most powerful general, conquering most of the Qin states. Qin was eventually defeated, and Xiang Yu had Prince Xin assassinated so he would be in charge. While Xiang Yu was in charge, he reallocated the territories to award people who served in the rebellion. Liu Bang had been promised a larger and more central territory, but he was only given the Principality of Han, which is modern Sichuan, Chongqing, and southern Shanxi. Because of this, Liu Bang launched a war against Xiang Yu, now known as the Chu Han War. They engaged in many battles from this point, vying for the control over China. While Xiang Yu was from a noble family and skilled militarily, Liu Bang had a grassroots background and was more politically savvy. Liu eventually won based on his ability to gain support from his peers and people, as well as his ability to surround himself with capable generals and advisors. Xiang Yu was eventually defeated at the Battle of Gaixia and committed suicide. Xiang Yu was a very interesting character as well, but we won't get into him in this episode, but let us know if you want an episode about him.
And so with Xiang Yu defeated and most of China under his belt, Liu Bang declared himself emperor and became known as the Han Gaozhu. The capital city was Chang'an, or today's Xi'an. As emperor, Gaozhu re-centralized China, getting rid of the kingdoms and putting in place principalities. He consolidated power by making his relatives the heads of these principalities. To help the people recover from the devastation of the war, he lowered taxes and boosted agriculture. Though he was known to be able to use great men to his advantage, Liu Bang ended up executing many of his capable generals such as Han Xing and Peng Yue. He was considered to be quite arrogant and crude. He was also a smart, powerful leader, but he was by no means a perfect man.
You mean unlike me? Anyway, let's talk about Zhu Yuanzhang, who was the first emperor of the Ming Dynasty. He is also called the Hongwu Emperor or Ming Taizong. Zhu Yuanzhang was born on October 21st, 1328, in a village located in present-day Fengyang, Anhui Province. His parents were very poor farmers. Zhu was born in a time of calamity at the end of the Yuan Dynasty. The anti-Mongol sentiment was high, with Han Chinese viewing the Yuan administration as illegitimate. There were waves of rebellion surfacing throughout the country. Having grown up under these terrible circumstances, it is no surprise that when Zhu Yuanzhang became an adult, he joined rebel forces to overthrow the Yuan Dynasty.
In his rebel group, Zhu Yuanzhang quickly stood out as a natural leader. His army conquered the city of Nanjing, and that later became their headquarters. Many people from across the country flooded into Nanjing because Zhu and his faction did a good job of governing the city. The Yuan government, which had already been weakened by infighting, was unable to quell the rebellions, and soon most of the country fell to rebel forces. At this point, the major rebel groups began splitting up as each leader wanted to be supreme ruler of China.
Zhu Yuanzhang's faction was called Ming, and he eventually defeated all the other rebel leaders. Similar to Liu Bang, Zhu was able to attract many capable generals and advisors to carry out his strategies. He declared himself Emperor Hongwu and established the Ming Dynasty. Nanjing became his capital city. The Mongol emperors surrendered and retreated to Mongolia, and China was unified under Ming control. While Zhu Yuanzhang is undoubtedly brilliant, his reign as emperor received mixed reviews from historians.
Emperor Hongwu took extra care of peasants, having come from a peasant family himself. He used land reforms to distribute land to small farmers and granted land to young farmers when they reached adulthood. Because of these policies, the Ming Dynasty saw a larger amount of cultivated land than any other Chinese dynasty. As a result of more food, the population increased nearly 50% and living standards generally improved.
However, as Hongwu grew older, he also became more paranoid, irrational, cruel, and tyrannical. He executed tens of thousands of people when he suspected someone of trying to overthrow him. He granted principalities to all his sons so that he could retain power over the entire country through them. He made it a capital offense for any advisor to criticize him.
Zhu Yuanzhang led a remarkable path to the Dragon Throne. He did some good for his people, especially the poor, but he also proved to be a tyrant.
You know, there's a Chinese saying about emperors,
Which is,
打江山容易，坐江山难. Getting to be the emperor, paving the way, fighting to be the emperor is
Right.
easy.
Right.
But being the emperor itself and ruling is more difficult.
You're telling me it's easy to lead a group of rebel forces to overthrow a government? That's not easy.
You know why it's easy?
Why is that?
Why it's easier?
Why?
Because at that point, you all have a common goal.
Okay.
Everybody is motivated towards a common mission. But
Right.
once you kind of settle down, then it becomes like, okay, so what's your goal? You're trying to get everyone to be peaceful,
Right.
but then there's rebellions everywhere. It's not easy.
That's true. And also, you know, after doing a lot of these Empress videos and Emperor videos, I'm thinking, honestly, most of the time, you're just worried about someone trying to kill
A
you.
lot of good emperors like Tang Taizong,
Right.
like Li Shiming, like the Tang ruler, was so beloved, he wasn't afraid of anybody.
That's true.
Because nobody wanted to kill him because everyone loved him.
That's
but
true.
you get these tyrants who grew up maybe in an environment where they don't trust people.
Right.
There's a lot of backstabbing. So when they become emperor, they become paranoid, and that's not how to be a good emperor.
That's right. Well, you asked before, would I like to be emperor? I would, but here's the thing. I want to be an emperor and just be like relaxed and chill and enjoy my poetry.
No, you cannot do that. You're the emperor. You're responsible for the well-being of millions of people. You're just gonna be like, nah, I'm just gonna go drink some tea.
No, but like
write some poetry.
But like we did a video about like a day in the life of a Qing emperor. Like Kanchi, like those guys, Yongzhen, like they had some time to chill,
Not a lot.
read their studies, enjoy their like
Not a lot.
calligraphy.
Nah, it's a lot of work, man.
All right, well, I would make laws that I would say, do not bother me from these hours
Wow.
because I'm gonna be
You're
playing
like, you're
games
definitely
and-
gonna get assassinated. You're deaf. Someone's
yeah?
gonna kill you, man.
One of my laws is that I will have protection in my palace as I read my books and paint my paintings.
Yo, someone's gonna kill you. It'll probably be like a eunuch or something. Well, anyway, let us know your thoughts. Would you want to be an emperor with moves? What's that movie called?
The Emperor's New Groove.
Okay, with new grooves.
That's
But
right.
Anyway, seriously, would you really want to be an emperor? Let us know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching.
Bye.
See ya.